All right, folks. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. It's time for the Fantasy Livewrite. We're gonna write a book live. That's our goal here. So, been doing this year. It's been a fun couple projects. Let me link to one that we did earlier in the year. We did the entire thing right here on the channel, including. Oh, that's not it. There it is. Including doing like the cover, doing the blurb. I didn't do any like AdSense stuff, so sorry. That might be something to do. Maybe this go around is like talk a little bit about setting up AdSense stuff. But I'm pretty sure this book that we're writing, I'm going to fold it into the Eternal Dream series, and so it'll be. Whenever you're writing a fantasy series, you usually want to focus all of your marketing efforts on book 1. That's the conventional wisdom. You can market book 4 if you want. You can market book 3 if you want, but it's usually a superior strategy to focus on book 1. You'd only want to focus on a later book if it would cause people to click and buy the first one, which they haven't read yet. The goal with most series is, of course, is to get people to read through them. So you write a 5, 6, 20 book series. The old Kindle way of making money was to write 20 books. It's a lot, right? 20 shorter books all in one series. You write those, you put them out. There's a folder in there. Get that out of the way. And then you spend all your money marketing number 1, and if you lose money on 1, you make money selling through on the whole series. So we could do a little bit of that for the stream as well, because I know there's a lot of authors that watch this and kind of want a little inside track on AdSense. I'm not an AdSense expert. What I do know about AdSense, though, is that you better have deep pockets if you really want to run it well, and there's more money in selling courses on AdSense than there is in writing books and running ads on AdSense. Okay, so that's, I'm a little bit, I don't know what, jaded there about author services, but it's true, right? So anybody that wants to do this, you should be aware of how this industry works. There's always somebody who's going to want to sell you on a course that's going to promise you, I'm going to teach you how to make $100,000. They always say it's always a big number. So 20 books to 50K, $50,000. You're gonna make $50,000. It's a good sum. It's a good sum of money. If you can make that without any costs. But you start adding in the costs, and you realize a lot of people who claim to make a certain amount of money, they're spending a lot of money advertising as well and doing all the other stuff, so that cuts in revenue versus profit. There's the different things. So yeah, we can maybe do a little bit of that as we go. I tend to focus my marketing efforts on things that are much better money return, which is things like content marketing, which I've talked about a lot. Content marketing generally has virtually no upfront cost, so everything you make it's money, and it runs, and the internet will show it to people for a long time. I still get views on Star Wars videos. I still get views on Star Wars videos 8 years later. And those views can, in a roundabout sort of way, sell the books. Sell the books that I write. So anyway, that's always it's always a thing to think about when you're doing a book series. But I tend to write books just because I have stories that I want to tell. So anyway, let's try to finish up this chapter today. I know I took last week off. I was sick. The kids were sick. Everyone was sick. Little baby had pneumonia. Still think of her as a baby. She's 5. But when your kid has pneumonia, you're not. It's stressful. It was mild. She's much better now, in case anyone's wondering. But having to get her to, we had to do like breathing treatments. We have a funny little nebulizer that looks like a seal. It's called Sammy the Seal. And it's supposed to make kids feel better about using a nebulizer. I'm like, it's so stupid what they do. I don't know if it works, but it might work on a little kid. Like, here's Sammy Seal. Isn't Sammy... You could pet Sammy Seal while he vibrates all over the table. You know. Glad to have you here, Jill. Alright, where are we? Okay. I think this is our document here. This is a live recording, by the way, that I did for one of the streams. So I put that out. I'll link it. I did this for like one of the streams, but I messed up with my recording software, or I messed up with my restream, so it didn't go to the right places. I'm hoping that we're doing better today, and I'm not messing everything up. All right, yeah, here we are. Okay. So we'll read a little bit of this. Get back into it. We've gone and we found Gwendolyn, who is Alfred's mom. And she's in her darkened, melancholy chambers in the realm of Twilight. I love kind of being in these dream spaces because you can kind of paint emotions directly. Everything reflects the emotional state of the people that are in it. You know, it's fun that way. Like we get to be surreal for a while. I used this in Water of Awakening. You go to the Feylands and everything can be surreal and weird and kind of, I don't know, more direct to the emotional states than normal. This is pretty fun. Time does not rush here. It flows and ebbs, Gwendolyn said. She swung her legs off the mattress and eased herself down onto the floor, then stepped to the balcony and opened the curtains to reveal a stormy sky. Oh my, there are passions racing here. Raging. That's a better word. Is Gilfir so angry? She reached her hand out to feel the air over the edge of the stone rail, then drew her arm back to her chest and shivered. No, it is some other chaos. She turned, and though she still held hints of the face of the Queen of Lotharia, her visage at that moment became elven and aloof, even alien. Derelict sighed. I see the quick child is impatient. Her eyes fell on Victoria, and she sighed. My sweet one, what webs you weave! You will bring the sky down on our heads with your fury. Victoria pointed to herself. Me? Yes, Gwendolyn's eyes fell on Icaros. A blessing and a curse, who can say? I am trying, Victoria said, but her voice failed, and she started to softly cry. Icaros put his arms around her. I see it, oh, the ruin of a woman's heart. I know it well, Victoria. Derelex kneeled. Your Majesty, I must ask for your help. Will you grant it? Of course, loyal Derelex. What a true friend you are to my love and my house, but where is my husband? He is still imprisoned. And you did not think to get him? I thought, but nobody knows where he is. Only you will be able to see, but even then, we will need your mother. She can dispel the weavings of your father. Alfred is in prison too, but of a different kind. Gwendolyn nodded. I think perhaps you are the only free man here, Derelex. I am not free, nor is Victoria or Icaros or even Aethelready. I am bound by oaths. You are not, Gwendolyn laughed. It is good. It is a good heart you have. Alfred is enchanted. He is not himself. He is always himself, but he has been wrapped in a dream, that is all. When he wakes up, he will find his own will. So, you see our need? I do. She turned back to the sky and sighed. Life is of such fury, a woman's heart. I will help you, Derelex, but you must free my husband. I would not leave without him. Promise me. Then I will be bound. Gwendolyn laughed sadly. I suppose, but my broken heart needs it. My nightmares have all come true. Really enjoy your writing advice. Well, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. You get to watch me write. See if the advice is worth anything. did I spell her name? Two Y's. Two Y's. What's up, Val? Hope you're having a good day. How come you sit in the dark to write? I don't like... Why would I want harsh light? This is plenty of light. I have a light on me here so that you can see me enough. In fact, I could probably like adjust this so that it's a little better. Hopefully this doesn't crash my computer right now. There's a problem with this, like, with this camera. That if you change certain settings, it'll mess stuff up. There we go. Do 3. Okay. Didn't crash it this time. Right. Why would you like... I just don't like light bulbs in my eyes. I use like a dark theme on my desktop. Like if I pull this away, there's like, you know, that's the desktop picture. It's like a animated desktop picture of whatever. So, and that'll change every so often. But yeah, all my windows are really dark. You know, normally I wouldn't even have this on; it'd just be the dark. Yeah, I don't want bright light on. That's not a good mood to me. I practice in the dark too. I like everything to be dark as possible. It's easier on the eyes to me. So yeah, it's there's no offense. Like if you like to have all the lights on, yeah, everybody's different, right? Some people, I don't like to feel like I'm in some kind of office with like harsh overhead lighting blinding me and or things like that. You know, I don't like a lot of light. And so this is another thing too, is that it's nighttime. So, you know, there's a light on behind me and there's a lot of bright lights on, but usually I start dimming all the lights in the house. Like all the lights are on a dimmer because you got to get ready for bed. So you want as little light as possible as you're getting ready for bed, and you want it to be as warm as possible, as much red light as possible, if you want to be able to get to sleep on time. I usually don't have any problem getting to sleep, even though I tend to stay up way too late. And last night was no different. But yeah, I try to keep the lights dim. Even if I go and work out, if I'm working out at night, I'll turn a light on the other side of the garage and be kind of dim in my workout area, and maybe just have the TV on. I don't need to see that much, you know, just a little bit. So I try to keep the light low during the night to kind of get the mind ready to sleep. Yeah. So for me, I'm not like blue light doesn't bug me with screens. It's never disturbed my sleep ever in my whole life. But the ambient light, I try to keep that pretty low, you know. So there's blue on my screen now. I mean, I could turn off more of the blue, but in general, there's less blue around me than otherwise. Some people, they want to have light on all the time. My wife is kind of like that, but I'm like, no, dim, no light, as little light as possible. Yeah. I can only write with blinding overhead lights in the stores of homeless people, so the library is perfect for me. You know, I remember all the libraries in California. So this is the fun anecdote. All the libraries in California and all the schools, to all the universities, we had this big power crisis. We had a power crisis. I see my kids walking past. What are they doing? I'm gonna go play in there. In the early 2000s, this was when Gray Davis was governor. The power, like, there was rolling blackouts. There was all these problems. So they went in and they took out every other light in the libraries, like in Fresno. So, like, the Fresno State Library is like this dim Joe versus the volcano hellscape, where like everything is super dim and fluorescent because they took out every other light fixture to try to save power. Now, how much power do they save? Probably not that much, but they did make the environment infinitely worse for trying to, like, find a book and read it and see what's on the page, right? You have to have light on a page to see it most of the time. Like, screens have their own light, you know, which is why I try to keep that dim, because it's like looking into a light bulb. But you know, it's like you can't see, you're going over the window to try to see the book at the Fresno State Library. Public library, same thing. They took out every other light fixture to try to save power. I remember they did that. Like, we had these really bright light fixtures in the music department where there were three. Each one was three fluorescent lights, and they went and took out two of the three. So the hallways were just always dim and, like, grim, especially at night. It was, like, dark. And, of course, music students, we work all night. We're there all night long. I was at that music building all night long, a lot of nights. So, you know, that's what they did. And now, meanwhile, keep in mind that they didn't turn the air conditioner off, so it's 100 degrees in Fresno all the time, all summer long. They have to run the air conditioner. So, you know, they may have saved 2% on their power bill to, like, remove all the lights, and then it would probably take years to make that up because you had to spend a bunch of labor. You had to hire electricians to go take out every other light fixture. And it took weeks to do that. You know, versus, but you can't not run the air conditioner. Same thing in, like, you can't not run the air conditioner in most of the buildings because they have computers and servers and stuff in them, right? You can't turn the AC off at a server farm. That would be disastrous. So they probably didn't save any money by doing it, but somebody in administration had a bright idea to do that. Like, hey, we're going to save all this money by, like, taking out every other light fixture. It's like, it would have been much cheaper to just wire them up with timers or something. And then you could have the light when you needed it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's so silly. It's a very California solution, yeah. Very, if you understand the university system, it's a very university system solution. You know, meanwhile, right, while they were worried about the power, they quadruple the budget and hire no teachers. Right, they quadrupled tuition, they quadrupled the budget, no extra teaching. Where did it go? Well, they just multiplied the bureaucracy. They just multiplied the administration so that there's this big kind of, like, elephantine bureaucracy crushing the poor mules of the faculty. Faculty have to teach more classes for the same pay. No tenure track positions open up. Everything is adjunct. Meanwhile, you go from having one dean and one department chair to having a dean, an assistant dean, two secretaries for each of them, department chair, assistant department chair, two secretaries for each of them, right? Multiple committees multiplying like rabbits. Everybody's on a committee, you know, like it got so, in like 5 years. How long was I there? I don't remember. But I was only faculty for like 3 years. But in that time, the amount of administration that multiplied was insane. They had to build they built like a bunch of portable buildings. They had to build a whole extra building just to hold all the extra admin. The biggest building on campus was always the Joyal administration building. And it got so full of people, they had to build more of that. Half the departments had to build extra offices. We were turning practice rooms into offices for, you know, random adjunct people because you wouldn't hire any more professors. It was wild, you know. Well, yeah, I've been told to go back to school to get my master's, but I'd rather be unemployed than go to college ever again. What are you going to get for that? A master's in what? What's it going to get you? Are you going to make connections that are important? Are you going to make power connections? If the answer is no, okay. Are you going to get education that's going to... Are you going to get knowledge you can't get somewhere else? Probably not. Are you going to get a certification that's going to increase your pay? If the answer is yes, and the pay increase will return in a reasonable amount of time, then I think you do it. So I've had multiple friends who were teachers who are like, I need to go back and get my master's to get further up on the pay scale. Now, I have mine, and I was always way over on the pay scale because it's like master's degree plus the maximum number of units. Plus I got a stipend for having advanced degrees. It's like, it's not an issue for me, but I look at it and I'm like, okay, so you're like one step not as far as me. And you're missing $1,100 a year of stipend. Okay. If it costs you $30,000 to get that master's degree, and you're going to increase you increase your salary by $3,000, that's 10 years to recover it. If you're under 50, it might be worth it, but for a lot of people, it's like you're not going to ever recover that money, so you just shouldn't do it. Like, what's the point? Every school I've ever gone to or worked at has been a nightmare in terms of organization and communication. Someone should do a study. I thought about doing research on it, but this is one of the problems. It's like, for me to research the inefficiency of the college system, I have to be in the college system getting a grant to research that, and no one will ever fund that research. You can only do it from outside, but you can look this stuff up because it's all public. You can look at what their budgets are. They publish all the budget stuff. You can look it up and you can see how much it's grown, how much tuition's grown, how much funding from the state has grown, or maybe even decreased, right? To arrive at where a college education for a student, depending on the major, is a proposition of negative value. And if it's a proposition of negative value, this is where I talk about student loans, right? If it's worth less than what you pay for it, then it's immoral to give a student loan for that. It's immoral by any definition of usury that you want to get through. So it's usury because you're not buying a product, you're buying an experience. You're consuming the money, right? You can't turn your degree back in, you can't turn your credits back in to get rid of your debt. So it's usury based on the basic definition of usury. But certainly selling somebody something that is worthless, it's a negative value to them, would be immoral if the proposition is we're giving you this loan so that you can make more money later, right? Given that starting place, So you have to think about it on those terms. It's like people were duped out of a lot of money. To go to college. A lot of them are like so brainwashed that they will still defend it. They'll still defend universities, even though it's like, I'm in eternal debt, but the universities are really important and we should give them more money. It's like, why? They cheated you out of $100,000. Why do you want to give them more money? You should get rid of them, right? They cheated you. Well, I just want my student loans forgiven. Yeah. We'll forgive them. We'll also get rid of the possibility for other people to get them. Right. Or I said, the simplest solution is you can just charge them with bankruptcy. They're the first thing to get just charged with bankruptcy. Well, people will just declare bankruptcy. And I'm like, yeah, good. That fixes the problem. The bankruptcy is a big deal. So if they just declare bankruptcy like it's a free thing, then great. Then you're screwing the bankers over who victimized them by selling them something that was worthless. No big deal. Oh, then they'll never give out student loans again. Okay, so we're continuing to solve the problem, aren't we? We're solving the problem now and in the future by getting rid of the student loan thing. Well, how are universities going to stay open unless they have millions of dollars every year of student loan money coming in? Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll have to figure out how to cut administration. Maybe they'll have to figure out how to offer more education for less money. Maybe they'll have to figure something out about how to give value to their students instead of just taking everything from them, because a degree is like a mandatory intermediate step for young adults who want to be middle class. Maybe that goes away. Maybe some universities close. None of those are bad things. Well, it's a bad thing for the people that work there. Yes, I understand that. The buggy whip manufacturers are really upset when the automobile comes around. Gotcha. Yeah, boomers pay like, $100 a semester for their education, and then they want you to pay $10,000 a semester for yours, and you're a lazy bum if, when you get out and you're making $12 an hour in a call center because that's all your degree can get you, that you can't pay your student loan of like $800 a month. Which they told you to get. They told you to get it. You got to go and make something out of yourself. Go to college. Anyway, that's enough ranting. Spelling evil already. It's been 2 weeks. I'm like, how do I spell my guy's name? Does he have an E? Sawad said. No, he's not. Yeah, 8th already. Yeah, I don't think there's value. Mr. Magoo says, I don't think there's value in a master's degree unless the job is paying for it. It depends what you want out of it. Like, do you think you're going to get special knowledge? For me, in the 2020s, it's really hard to look at any master's degree and say you're going to receive special knowledge from it. There's some that I could justify. Like, if you were to get a master's degree in music performance, that what would go along with that would be working closely with like a master teacher. Do you have to get the master's degree to work closely with that master teacher? No, you could just pay him, and it would actually be a lot cheaper to pay him by the hour to do that. So that's not actually necessary, but that would be something that like would be part of a master's degree for like building up your CV to get a professorship at some place. Again, that's like an academic track. So for people in the private sector, I just don't know how it matters, especially in music. Like, no, I don't know anybody who's ever gotten a gig, like a real gig, based on who they studied with or having a PhD or something. It's always like how you play. Even if you were to, even if I were to try to get a job at a university teaching guitar or something, there'd be like an audition process where I'd play a concert. And so even if I had studied with great people, if the concert sucks, I'm not getting hired. And likewise, if someone's like, they've been to Juilliard, but they like bork the concert and they can't play, then they're probably not going to get hired. The Juilliard degree would help for sure. Like, the better degrees help with that. But you're just in an academic world where like it just doesn't really matter that much, And then once you have the job, band director chops, baby. Band director chops, basically like music students lose their ability to perform once they become teachers. They just stop practicing because they're not gigging. Like, they're not having to do it for real, Did I just spell palace? There goes my music. Video paused. Continue watching. Yes. Thanks for confirming. Yeah, I just wanted to, have my music go. Master's degrees don't guarantee a job, and you'll be more miserable for it. Yeah, I mean, it might help with competition for certain kinds of jobs, but on the knowledge front, a lot of it's portfolio. Like, if you're trying to do dev work, your portfolio matters more, right? There's a lot more that goes into a resume or a CV, curriculum vitae, than like you got a master's degree somewhere. So yeah, I tend to be pretty pragmatic about, do you need a master's degree? Well, is it going to be worth the investment? Is it a good investment? Or is it going to be like a lot of time and a lot of money without giving you extra money in return? Took me a long time to realize that when people talk about networking, they mean having friends, because few people are willing to give you the time of day nowadays. Yeah. So it's like, you got to go to this for networking. I'm like, okay. What does that mean? Networking. It means like being friendly with people. an hour late. Good evening. What's up, Albrecht? This is super relaxing. Need to come to more of these. Yeah. Mostly just working and sometimes ranting. Sorry. Still getting over a cold. Actually, this would be reversed. No, this would be right.
how often I hear from active investors over the last...
We got an ad. Lots of ads that I don't get paid for. So I put all these out on my main channel, like I could have gotten paid for all of these. And I'd probably get more views, but I wanted to have it in its own area that, like, you know. It'll just be its own thing. You know, this channel's all music. It's no talkie-talkie. 15 more minutes. Alright, it's gotta be. I think that's it for this chapter, guys. I've written about 3,000 words today, so that's good. I'll have this up on the blog. I'll have this up for paying members of Patreon and Substack as well. So that'll be up. Let's create a chapter 21, which is going to be... All right. Little teaser for you guys there. Okay. All right, so I'll have this out on the blog pretty soon. Here, let me turn this music down. It's a little heavier work here. All right. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for stopping by. Let me link the Patreon. So if you want to read this as these pieces are coming out, you can do it on Patreon. You can also do it on Substack. So it'll be a paid thing on Substack. I do have a Substack article usually that comes out every week. So this week's is called Mall Before 2006. Just looking at really old videos, really before smartphones. It's a different kind of world. Talking about that a little bit. So please do check that out. Thanks for hanging out with me, letting me rant a little bit about this. I was just thinking I do like the swash on the Q. That fits together very nicely. I appreciate that. Okay, so I think that's it. I'll see you all next time. And anything else I need to link? Oh, music channel. Do subscribe to the music channel if you like what you're hearing on the tape. And I'll send you to the Bandcamp if you want to hear the actual albums. Okay. I have all the stuff on those. Anything else? How about a book? I do have a... If you join Patreon this month, you will get The Bright Children, which is a deep cut. It's not available on Amazon, so you'll get that by joining this month. And that's about it. Thanks for hanging out with me, folks. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you all next time.